Okay, if you just log on to the system, remember to come to the lecture group. Today we'll need a file called lab1 work file and download it onto your desktop. Before we begin, we also need to take a look at Moodle there, and something related to group project already be put here for submission, remember. And if you are the group leader, all right, of the group, you have to submit this one by next Monday, 7 o'clock. And remember, this one is a turn it in thing, so make sure the percentage of similarity there is 20% or less, otherwise you lose some mark on that. The file of your group upload is 20 megabyte only, that's the maximum. So even though you can have some photo, all right, make sure that you don't make the file too big for upload. It must be smaller than 20 megabyte. And the group file should be in docx format, all right, that's the things that you need to know. Apart from that, for PowerPoint, the PowerPoint has no Turnitin there, all right, because the Turnitin already been checked here. That's why the PowerPoint will not check on that. And the PowerPoint has 50 megabyte maximum and it's PPT or that's a must. The last file, all right, the first file is by group leader, the second file from the group leader. So if you change group leader, you have to inform me, otherwise we will not be able to get your work from the whole group. That's very important. The second thing here, all right, is everyone in the group has to download a form called peer evaluation form from the centralized Moodle. So everyone has to download this one and then complete it and then upload it here. Now the maximum for that is 72 megabytes, so you need not have any photo, picture in it. Okay, just type in what you have done, rate, give the marks of your peers and upload, that's going to be fine. If you forget to give me your peer form, you will lose 25% of the project. All right? If your project is 100 marks, you get 75 only. So make sure you fill in the form. Whether you are a group leader or you are not a group leader, so everybody must give the peer form, remember. All right? Okay, that's the first thing you have to know. Now, it's already started, so whenever you are ready with the project, you can basically start uploading them, right? And mind yourself with the date of submission. That would be the next Monday, 7 o'clock, or that's the due date. Now, once you download the lab file that we have here, you should open it and you see this one here. Now, today we'll work on Excel and we'll start a new worksheet, all right, to try it. So let's start a new worksheet. We go here and start a new worksheet. And in order to manage the Excel worksheet good, always that we'll rename the worksheet, right? So that it will be easier for us to manage it. So let's right click on the sheet tab here. We call it sheet 1 at the moment, but we will rename it and call it demo. Up and then enter. Apart from that, we'll also give the worksheet tab a color so that it will be easier to be recognized. So we go to demo here once more, right click on that and give it a color. This time maybe I give it a blue color, all right? So what is Excel? Excel, all right, if you tell the others that you know Excel, okay? You should be able to tell that you know, for Excel, you know what is the 3F there in Excel. That is formula, function, and format in Excel, all right? Make sure you know them if you say you know Excel, all right? Excel is normally used for what? Excel is normally used for calculation, as we see here. And it's also help you to put graphics. It's not used for database anymore in Excel, all right, in the world. So right now, if you're preparing for financial statements like the income statement, balance sheets, cash flow statement, definitely people turn to Excel because in Excel there, once you set the numbers correct, once you set the formulas correct, it's no chance for you to get any calculation mistake. And that's why it's used widely for financial statements preparation. Okay. So let's take a look at Excel. Whenever you work in Excel, remember, no matter how much you know about it, when people work on Excel, because they have to work on number, from time to time, they will zoom in with the box big, because they don't want to get the number wrong. Remember, if you get the number wrong or type the formula wrongly, basically your Excel will go erratic, right? Erroneous, and that would not be good. So no matter how good your eyesight is, it's not about the eyesight actually. It's about you're carefully dealing with the numbers. Once all the numbers typed in correctly, once all the formula set up correctly, you zoom out and then you take a look at the printing effect. So when you find people zooming out in the Excel, that means that person finished the job in Excel already. Right? So whenever we start working on Excel, therefore, we always zoom in big boxes like that. Now, another thing that we have to know in Excel is about the pointer. The pointer in Excel, we call it a crosshair. Sometimes you find the word crosshair in some of the description in Excel. Crosshair is this one, all right? This is a crosshair. That means a cross, all right? Now, in Excel there, we have actually 3 different types of crosshair, right? 3 different types, right? The first type of crosshair is this one, all right? Is fat crosshair. You use for highlighter. For example, I highlight this, and then I press the control button on the keyboard and highlight somewhere else. This is multiple selection. And this is telling the Excel to focus on the boxes that you highlight. That's the focusing crosshair. Sometimes people call it that way. Now, if you go to File, if you go to Print, if you go to Print there, you're going to see in Setting, you can even print what Excel is focusing on, right? Because there's an option here called Print Selection. Print Selection. So you're printing just the focuses of the Excel, right? So the first one is this one, highlighting crosshair. The second crosshair is shown whenever you reach the side of a cell, all right? You see there's arrow. That's actually the movable or drag and drop crosshair, which allow you to move something easily from one place to another, all right? That's the movable crosshair. The last one there is the one that we see here on the bottom right corner, and that's the formula paste crosshair. We use that for action repeat. All right, for example, we have crosshair here. If you go to the bottom right corner and slide all the way to the right, horizontally, you have the repeat of copying itself. Action repeat is copying itself. And now you should realize that in Excel, we have actually 2 ways of treating data. If the data is text, it's always on the left. If the data is number, it's always on the right. Okay, for example, 1 here in A2. And in Excel, we normally use coordinate to talk about the boxes. A2, A1, things like that. We call it name boxes, right? For example, I have 1, go to A2, and you see A2 is on the right, so it's a number. If you go to the bottom right corner and apply action repeat to it, what do you have? Okay, you have copy of result, all right? Okay, what if I have number put in this way? And then I teach the pattern to Excel. For example, I highlight 1 and 3. So you're focusing 1 and 3, only 2 boxes. And then you go to the bottom right corner and tell, okay, Excel, please follow this pattern. So what's the pattern? The pattern is odd number, right? Odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7. So what would they give? They give you the pattern. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, right? So it extends infinitely. How about character? If I have A, B, and C, they are all tags. This time I teach Excel to highlight them. So I have A, B, C highlighted. I'm focusing A, B, C. And then I go to the bottom right. Okay, a lot of people will say, what would be the next one? People will say, oh, that would be A, B, C, D, right? But if you extend it, you're going to find out no. It's only A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. How come? Because for tags, it goes cyclical. It's not extending, but cyclical. So that's the characteristic of tags. It's go in circle, cyclical. But for number, it's increased infinitely. If you can still remember in Access, There's some data type that looks like text but acts like number. For example, day, right? So let me try day with you. Okay, maybe I have a day that's September the 1st. I'm using the UK system, so I will be inputting 1/9/2021. For a computer, if your computer is American system, in date recording, you type 9/1/2021. Both is telling you about the September 1st. Okay, if you type the date down, what do you find the date? The date is actually on the right, so this is a number characteristic. So if I go to the bottom right corner this time, what would it be? Let's extend it all the way to the right and see what happens. You find the number go like that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Of course, if some of you have a very narrow column, you see a lot of hashes. If you see hashes, no worry about it. That means the column width is too narrow. All you need to do is go between H and I here and double click. It will auto fit. Okay. So you can always say, all right, you don't need to teach a date. The date will progress itself. Or you can teach it, say, okay, I want the first day and then I jump every 3 days. So that would be 4/9/2021 in my case. And then I focus on the change from 1 every 3 days. All right, I jump. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And then I go highlight it like that. I go to the bottom right corner and I repeat this pattern. So what do you find? You find some of the boxes is too big, so I have to enlarge the columns to see the result. All right. I'm now enlarging the column, double clicking it. And I find, oh, it's 1, and it's the 4th of September, the 7th, and then the 10th, the 13th, the 16th, the 19th, the 22nd, the 25th, right? So every 3 days it jump. Okay, that's date. How about day? For example, Monday, right? Monday. Okay, Monday, you type it, it's on the left, so this is text. So you don't teach Monday, you go to the bottom right, you extend it. What are you expecting? Am I going to have Monday all the way to the right? The answer is no. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday. So it's called cyclical. That's text. Cyclical. In circle again. Can I teach that cycle? Yes, of course. We can say Monday and then I jump to Wednesday. Okay, let's do it that way. And then I let Excel focus on these two boxes only, from Monday to Wednesday, like that. Monday, Wednesday. And then I go to the bottom right corner, and then I extend it. See what happens. It's Monday, Wednesday, and then jump one day to Friday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday, Wednesday again. So cyclical, every 1 day jump. Okay, now, whenever you go in on Excel, you can always right click and then you can insert or delete, right? You can insert or delete a row or box, right? Like that, okay? Just that if you want to insert something in between two rows or columns, always go to the latter one, right? The later one, remember. Now, here comes the core of this learning on Excel. Among the 3 classes that we're going to be having today and the next 2 weeks that we have, remember, if you say you know Excel, you know these 3 apps actually. What is Excel? Excel, you make heavy use of format, function, and formula. That's the 3 apps that we are talking about, the 3 apps. Well, what is format? Format means the look, right? The outlook of something, all right? So it's not changing the nature of the things. For example, if the box is number 5, not changing number 5 at all. It's just the look. Maybe that number 5 is bold, italic, and red in color, for example. So that's the format. So format is not changing the cell, it's only the look, the appearance, right? Okay, if this is not changing, how about these two? These two is, if the format is not changing, formula and functions are changing the cell, right? So if you're changing the cells into something else, you use equal sign every time you introduce it, remember? So that's the prerequisite for your changing a cell. And so for cell changing, okay, if you want to let the cell reflect the business rule or business intelligence or the tax system in the country, we set formula. So formula is a flexible way to reflect the varying nature of that we are facing in the business world. How about function? Function is actually helping you to provide with some convenience. For example, some formula is really hard for us to remember, just like the binomial equation, the Poisson equation, the standard deviation, all right, for sample or population. In just very short period of time, you get forgotten. So what if I use a word to represent and then I don't have to remember the tedious equation? So that's what we say predefined function, right? So it's a formula. Apart from that, function is also programs, right? Some of the functions are programmed. For example, I have to write a program to find the maximum out of something. That's a loop program, right? So if I don't want to write a loop program, I use the max, and that's a function also, right? So let's try today, maybe for some number. In a financial statement, normally in Hong Kong, the smallest unit is what? It's only one decimal place. If you are making a financial statement in the UK, because the smallest unit is 1 penny, so it's actually 2 digits because 100 penny is 1 pound, right? So now, for example, you are making a financial statement in Hong Kong and you come across this number, which is 3.4156. 3.4156 is not a nice number in a financial statement because we are only show one decimal places. You can have numbers like that if you're calculating the P ratio, the ROI, the return on investment, things like that, you have it, right? So you don't want to see something like that. You want to see 3.4, right? So how can you see 3.4 there? Way number one doing that is you change it into 3.4 by function. So if I want to use function, so I go to B8 here and use equal sign to introduce function. Remember, whenever you want to change a cell, you introduce an equal sign for that, and this time you use a function. So I use the function round, R-O-U-N-D, round. And I'm applying this function to 3.4156. Now, I'm gonna be using A8, okay? I'll explain it later, right? Just use A8 first. Instead of using 3.4156, I write 88. And then I comment it and say 1. I can only take one decimal place in the financial statements. And then run, and then enter, I'll get 3.4. So you may ask, it is a real 3.4, all right? You can test it like that. We go to the 3.4 box here in B8, and then we go to home and copy it. Once you copy it, it's in dash line, or it's in copy mode. And then you go to C8 here. Now this time, let's paste the values of this calculation by going to the page pull down here and choose this one here, called paste values. So let's paste the value there. What do you find? It's 3.4. If you want to stop the copy mode, you press the escape button on the keyboard, so the copy mode will disappear. Now after that, let's check the whole formula together. You want to check every formula on Excel, you go to formula work ribbon here, formula, and then you can press a button here called formula, show formula. Or you can also press control tilde. This is control tilde. The sign tilde is actually a button below escape button. So if you press control tilde or show formula, what did you see? You see that, 3.14156, if go round function there in A1, you get 3.4. So you know this one is a real 3.4, all right? You also see the data we used earlier is also numbered. That's why it's behaved like a number, isn't it? Now that's the way people normally go in Excel. We call it the formula audit mode. So as long as the number is typed here correctly, I mean the numbers here are typed correctly, as long as the formula here are typed correctly, you basically have no chance at all to get calculation incorrect, isn't it? Now to jump out of this, you can press control tilde, all right, as said earlier, control tilde, or you can go to show formula here and Press show formulas button once more. Both allow you to return to normal. So if you use this 3.4 here to go on your calculation, is it a good idea? No, because you have rounding error here. So if this is your price earning ratio, you want it to project your cost of goods sold, there will be some deviation. Okay, so you don't like that. Okay, but I want to use this number, but I don't want to show this, I just want to show one decimal. If you're requesting something like that, that means you want a whole number for continuous calculation. Then you cannot, but have to turn to format. This time you don't want to change the cell. You just want to change the look of it so that it becomes one decimal. So I go to homework ribbon here this time and give it a format here. This format that we're going to be using is called decreased decimal. All right. You move over here in number, you find it here, decreased decimal. So let's click it one time, two times, three times. I have 3.4. Now if you print it, it's 3.4. But if you calculate it, it's actually, as you see here, is 3.4156. So it's still giving the old number. No rounding error there. Or if you press Control tilde, you see it's 3.4156 also. Control tilde to jump out. All right. So this is a format. So format is like a clothing that you put on a cell. Okay, if you don't want that clothing, you just take it away. How can I take that clothing away? I go to homework ribbon again. Then this time, if you want to take the clothing away, you can go to clear drop down and choose clear format. Once you clear the format, what happened? It's returned to 3.4156. So 3.4156 never changed. Just that you change the outlook. You want to look back to go. You want it look one decimal place again. You can go home here. Go to home here, and apply the decreased decimal once more, and then the reflex return. So this is format. Now formats can be quite complicated. Apart from the decimal places that we just demonstrate, you can also make it bold, italic, or even yellow, and also give it a color. Maybe I turn it into blue. Okay. Now, if you do something like that, you're creating a style. You have a yellow background, you have a bold, italic, blue letter, and blue words, right? And also word, and also one decimal places, 5 of them. So if I want this format apply here, I have to do 5 times, and that would cost a lot of time. So you may wonder, is there a way I can find, I can copy this format from here to there so that it would be easy? Okay, yes, you can, or you can do it in 2 ways. One is you go to the place with format first and then click this button here called format painter. Once you click format painter, your cursor with a painter, it can paint the area you want to have those format, so it's quite handy. However, once they are used, the format will be gone, right? What if you say, oh, I love this format so much that I want to save it down? Okay, if you want to save format down, is it possible? Yes, you can. If you think in this way, then you have to use something here in homework ribbon called cell style. You can go to cell style here and choose new cell style, right? In your computer, if your computer is big enough, okay, with a very big screen there, you normally will see this one, all right, go in a rectangular boxes, all right? But my computer is very small there, and that's why I have to click the pull down, and then you see this is style. Now what I want is I have to go to new cell style here, right? And then I have to give it a name. For example, I want it to be used in text, right? So I say text. Whatever name is going to be all right because you're the one be using that, all right, for let yourself recognize it easier. And then you take all those small things here and click OK, all right? Then you have the format save, all right? Maybe you then go here, there's a new cell that you want to apply the format. You can go to homework ribbon here and choose format, all right? Format, format, home here, right? You can say, you can go to cell style here and see your text is here, right? And then you can get this text format back to this number, right? So this is the way that we say we clear, we store the format, right, in a lump sum, right, with a lot of the effects in it. Now, time to start an exercise. Let's take a look at the exercise. Today's exercise is like that, all right? We have two exercises. The first one is super easy. Maybe you use only 3 seconds to do it because I typed for you already. All you have to do is to apply bold, all right, format bold to the words, and then also use the borders, all right, use the borders format for it. So it's only very few seconds you can do it. Let's do it together. So if you want all those words turned into bold, you just click one of the words first and then press the control button on the keyboard and highlight all those words. So I'm now focusing with all those words that I want to turn into a bold. And then I go to home here and press bold. All right, that's it. You have it right away. After that, you highlight the whole document. This time, what you want? You want it to be in grips. So I go here in home and choose border. I choose all borders. All right, and then save it. And that's it. All right. Now after that, let's see. We're basically done, and then we can go to exercise 2. So exercise 1 is super easy. How about exercise 2? Exercise 2 actually will be a lot more complicated. Let's see here. In exercise 2 there, let's see. Hang on. You have a few things to do. The first thing is you have to familiarize yourself with insert. How to do the insert here? You now want to have a column called maximum or max, sitting somewhere between total and average. Now to do it, we go to the left. Remember, we go to the left-hand column. Maybe I here, anywhere in I. Right-click it and go to insert here first, and then we say the entire column. Then you have a new column I here, and in a new AI2 here, you press maximum. If you find maximum is too wide, you can go between I and J here, double click, all right? Then you have maximum, right? Nicely accommodate. Now after you've done the insert, the next thing is getting more complicated. Computer wants you to calculate the total monthly sales and total monthly expense. So they want to have this and that calculator, right? So how would you do that? You calculate the January total sales and the January total expense, and then you share this method all the way from left to right. Right, that's the way we run. So how to write 140 to 95? Now to 94, we have equal sign here. So you use a formula. We use formula first. If we're using formula, are you using the number? No, we're using the format. Then that would be B4. Sorry, B3. No, so B4. Is it B4, right? Yeah, B4. And then plus B5. So you're writing B4 plus B5. So B4 plus B5 is 234, right? That's the way computer calculates for you. Now, because you're using coordinate, you say B4, right? B5, right? So you right click here. Sorry. You go to the bottom right corner of 234 and extend all the way to June. Then you calculate, you find the calculation is correct, right? Because it's relative to the position that you're in. Okay. So this is the first one. The second one here, this time if you use formula, it's going to cost you a lot of time making it. So you use function. If you use function, you go to the first month, January, total expense, and then you go to home here and choose auto sum. Now auto sum is the function that you must know in Exactly. We have actually 6 functions you must know. One is sum, one is average, one is count, one is max, one is mean, another one, the last one is if, right? And today let's try sum. Alright, once you try sum, what happens? The computer will have equal sign to choose a function. Together with that, they would have also the coordinate from B9 to B14. So this time it's guesses right, alright? If you're happy about the setup for the computer, you press enter. You get 233 right away, right? Then you want to extend this calculation all the way from January to June. So you go to the bottom right corner here and share this method all the way from Feb to June, right? That's it, and save it. Now, let's see. And then we do some calculation. This time the calculation is this one, right? Here and there. And the way you do is you calculate these, all right? Total sales for January, total sales for total expense for January. And then you copy them all the way to the right. All right? So let's try. We want to calculate January, right? So we go to B7 first. Equal sign to introduce. First of all, we use formula. So 140 formulas, remember, is B4. But you don't use formula. Maybe you use 140. And plus 94. And then enter. What happened? You get 2, 3, 4. And then you share this method out. So let's go to the bottom right corner and share this all the way. What do you find? Ah, it's all wrong. See? Control tutor, let's see. You see, it's all wrong. What's the problem here? When you enter a number instead of a coordinate, it's get wrong for sure. Just for the first one is correct. Alright? So let's press Control tutor to jump out. Now let's change this one, alright? Let's change this one. Right, delete it. Into coordinate, alright? Once you use coordinate to do it, you see here, you will have no problem with that, right? See, no problem with that. How about this one? This time this one is also using, right? Using coordinate and using the function. The function that we're using here is this one, is auto sum. Now in this course here, we have 6 functions that you must know. One is sum, another one is average, and then count, and then max, and then mean, and the last one is if that you're going to see in the third lab. And if you use them, right, you see here, the computer is using the function and also the coordinate. And that's why we shared it is correct. Right. So this one is like that. And then how about we calculate the category and expense and category. You want to calculate the max, total, and average, right? So clearly, you know, from now on, this is actually an income statement. What do? You calculate the clothing total, max, and average. And then you copy this method all the way down. If anything over calculate, you just delete them, right? That's the way you run. So let's try it using function. I go here, I want to find the clothing total. So I go to H4, and then I go to insert here and choose auto sum. Immediately the computer gives me equal sign and also the sum function, and then it gives me the range is correct, it's B4 to G4, so we enter it, you get 1020, that's correct, lovely. And now we want to find the clothing maximum, so we go to I4 here. After you do an I4, you go to home and then you go to auto sum again. Now this time you want max because that's a program, right? But you have to be very careful because the range here for max is actually wrong. It's actually start from B4 to H4, but you don't need that. You just need it go to G4. So this time you cannot accept the range suggested, but change it to from B4 to G4. You don't have to worry about a big or small letter in Excel because it's actually case insensitive. Okay, you can have big or small letter, it doesn't matter to it. Once you change it back to the correct coordinate and enter, you should have 210 instead, alright? And then we go here in J4. This time I want an average. You go to home, you go to this, okay, auto sum again. Now this time you want it to be average. But when you are given the function and the equal sign and also the range, you find the range is not correct because it's count up to I, but you need it up to G only. So don't accept this false range. Instead, you go to the suggested range here and change this I into what? Into G, right? So for the average here, you just want it to start from B4 all the way to G4. That's it. And then you press enter, you should have 170. Now, this 3 is very important because you're going to share all them down below. So make sure you have all of them correct. Once you ensure their correctness, you highlight all of them. All right? So you focus on 3 working. And then you share those 3 working down below by going to the bottom right corner, action repeat. And then you have all things calculated. Except here that you overcalculate, you highlight them and press the delete button, you have it deleted right away. So this is our question 3. Question 4 showing you that it is really an income statement as we did in financial accounting. It says we have to have an item called income after total expense. So let's get income down here. All right. Once I type income, let's see what happens. They will say that, okay, you have to make use of this monthly income here to calculate. Now, this is a business rule. A tax is a business rule, actually. So you have to use formula to implement it. They want every month income, right? Income can be quite varying from place to place. In Hong Kong, that may only be total sales money expense. In some other places like the UK, New Zealand, they will have tax, right? So the income will have some tax component here, and that will be quite complicated. So how would you do that? You calculate the January income first, and then you propagate this method all the way from January to June. So let's go here in B17 because we are going to use formula to reflect the business rule. So we will be having equal sign here first. And for January sales, that would be 234 here. So what's the name box? The name box coordinator, that's B6, right? Minus the expense, the total expense of January, this one, and that would be B15 minus B15. All right, so that's the business rule that we just had for income calculation. Enter it, you get 1. What is 1? 1 is 1,000. So 1 unit is 1,000. So it may be 1,000 US surplus or 1,000 Hong Kong surplus. After that, we have to propagate this calculation all the way from January to June. So I go to the bottom right corner here and extend it until June. And then you realize that, oh, in January, actually, I have $1,000 surplus. When I go to February, I have $9,000 deficit. But when I return to March, I have 23,000, all right, profit, and then 78 and 30 and 30, right? All right, that wraps up for everything we need to know about the access learning, all right? And we can save it, and then we can close it and upload, all right? And next time we'll carry on learning more on format and graphing. And in the final lesson of Excel, we'll be learning about some intermediate function in Excel, right? So let's stop here.